Hello and welcome to Kramer's Corner with a daily technical update on the FX market, the interest rate and cryptocurrencies. This video is for educational purpose only. There's no recommendation advice whatsoever intended. So let's have a look at what has been going on in the forex market. Not much really. It is still fairly quiet and has been for the better part of last week also, at least towards the end of the week. And this morning here, Monday, it has really not done much. Euro dollar closed back above the cloud the Friday though, and I think we'll see it crawling higher here in the coming days towards 118.5. If taking out that level, well, then there's potential up to 119, 119.5. The 786 retracement of this downtrend here, and 138.2 projection of this corrective move here. But it's not really convincing, is it? But there is a positive sentiment on the RSI. We can see here it got rejected at 60 threshold Friday, but it is still in a positive sentiment. So it should push higher. There's strong support down here around 116, 65, 60 area. The sterling dollar also slowly trying to crawl higher here towards 137, 137.15, the 786 retracement of this downtrend here. And I think we'll get there also given the fact that we have positive sentiment on the RSI. It's just really not that convincing at the moment. But 55 moving average is rising, 200 also, 100, and we are above the cloud, so we should crawl higher here in the coming days and weeks. Euro sterling really weird here, opening lower each morning and then bouncing, and then opening lower and then bouncing. But basically what it is, it's hovering around the 86.25, 86.40 area, and still above the key support here at 86. That is key. If it takes out that, well, then we are likely to push lower towards the levels around 85.5, possibly down to 85. But for now, it's still holding on nicely. But look at this, all moving averages pushing lower, and we are below the cloud. We have negative sentiment. It should indicate lower levels. Dollar yen, yes, a lot of volatility, but it really doesn't get anywhere. And that is also the threat, as you can say it, with the Bank of Japan that has intervened a couple of times, say, okay, here to until here, and not any further. They knocked it down there, they knocked it down here. So they probably won't see dollar yen to 160 anytime soon. Everybody knows that they will keep it dollar yen lower. They dipped it below the 155.5 here. So they are really a powerful force. However, every single time it closed in the cloud, never closed below the cloud, and never closed below 155.5. There is negative sentiment that could indicate we could see lower levels, but for now it's still holding on here, and we could maybe see a bounce. And if we just on the last move there put in this Fibonacci, oops, there we are, well, then we have some levels, but again, it is really hard to trade it at the moment because you are up against Bank of Japan. However, if it takes out the peak there just below 158, we could see a push up to 159. I think they will allow that, but then I wouldn't be surprised if they come back in and intervene. If they want to hold it below 155.5, they can probably do that. If they want to, well, then we're looking at 154, possibly lower. But again, I think we will see range-bound trading there for quite some time on the dollar yen. Also, euro yen crawling slowly higher. A little bit of resistance here at 185. If it takes out that, well, then we could be looking at 186, 186 and a quarter again. But again, also here, the Bank of Japan intervention is a powerful force. So I wouldn't be surprised to see it being traded here between 183 and 185 here for quite some time. So it's really hard to do analysis on it when you have someone with such deep pockets that they can take basically everything out of the equation and just do whatever they want. The Aussie yen well, slowly crawling back here towards 114, just below this trend line, and that's why I keep it here, because sometimes it hovers around it. And also here, the Bank of Japan intervention is playing a role, obviously. Key support here at 111, a close below a break, and a close below could send it down below 110, but then we have the 100 moving average coming up. I think we'll try to crawl higher here towards 114.70, maybe 115, but again, also the Bank of Japan could have a role to play here. Sterling yen bounced to the 61.8 retracement at 214.25, and then set back again. And that is the range, 210.40 to 14.25. If it breaks back above, well, then we're looking 215.25. And if we crawl much higher than that, that was when the Bank of Japan intervened. So again, also here we could be range bound, hovering between 210 to 14.25 for quite some time. The Aussie dollar crawling slowly higher here last week, sitting back a little bit, still bullish trend, still positive sentiment, although it is declining the strength indicator. So it is in exhaustion mode, but we also know it can go on for quite some time. As long as we stay above 71, well, then the bullish trend is intact, and we could crawl higher. And looking at the weekly chart, you can see where we are crawling higher above the key resistance levels, and we have to go really far back to levels around, let's just get it in there, levels around May 2022, where we have 72, 80, 85, and these levels up here, that is much higher towards 75. We could get there. However, we do have some RSI weakening here, indicating uptrend exhaustion, but for now the trend is your friend, and it's again, as long as you stay 71, the picture is intact. Moving on to the dollar Canada, that has been bouncing last week. We talked about it for the better part of the week, that it could do that. Got up to the resistance here just around 137.15, and the 38.2 retracement there of this downtrend, maybe setting back a little bit, but it is a key resistance. It's just below the cloud, it's below the 100, and the 55 moving averages coming down. So let's see if it can break it. I highly doubt it, but if it does, well, then there could be potential up to around 138 and the 61.8 retracement. Then we have the 200 moving average coming down there. That should kind of putting a lid on it. That didn't really do it over here, but it could do it here also when you have a combination of the upper part of the cloud. So, but let's see if it takes out the lows from today. Then I think we will seeing setting back towards the 136 area. The 61.8 retracement is a good guess to sit back to, possibly lower. Negative sentiment still in play. So overall, we are in a bearish trend on dollar Canada. Looking at the weekly chart, we can see this around here 135 area is really a key. We can see the lows here; they're actually slowly rising a little bit. We can see it also on the daily. So there is some bias down here in that region around 135, 135.40. But if it takes out that, and I think it will do it eventually, then there are lower levels, but there's some support here just above 134. So again, also dollar Canada could be range bound here for a while, but a key resistance, a strong resistance up here, and support down here. The Euro Swiss, well, it is at around 91.20, 91.20, 25. There is some support in the cloud, but we have the 200 coming down there. And I said it for a long time that we will be range bound here. Forget about this spike there. The range bound to the lower side. You see lower highs there, lower lows, so slightly declining. And what we can actually do, we can maybe see, okay, can we add some little bit of a flag going on, or a little bit of flag going on there, maybe corrective flag. So let's see. But all moving average declining, and I think it will push it lower, but still positive sentiment, never got below 40 threshold, so that would be key. But I think if it takes out the low of today, which is around 91.15, well, then we could see a push down to 90.40. But the problem is, in Asian session, it is so illiquid, so we can see these spikes there, and you probably can't really trust it. The dollar Swiss opened down around the 77, 40, 50 support there, and buyers came back in, but we are in a bearish trend. We are below the cloud. We do have most of the moving averages declining. The 200, the 100 is only the 55 that's still slightly rising to flat. The RSI is in a negative sentiment, so we are in a bearish trend, but we could see a little bit further bounce, maybe to 78.35, maybe up to 78.50, 55. But taking out the lows from today, there at 77.40, and we could be looking at 76.5. The dollar index, well, key support here at 97.44, that should be observed. Taking out that, then we could be looking in the area around 96.69, 96.37, where we have some support, and I think we'll get there. We are in a bearish trend. It's just pausing here with this key support. Negative sentiment indicating lower levels. We are below the cloud. We are below all moving averages. So it looks like we could get pushed. But we need confirmation to take out this 97.44. Moving on to the bond market and US 10-year Treasury yields that bounced from the 50% retracement of this uptrend there. We are in a bullish trend. But it got knocked down from around the 786 retracement, just around 443. It just spiked a little bit above. So we are in a bullish trend, positive sentiment. I think we will crawl higher towards 450, and I also think it will take it out eventually, but it will take some time. But for now, we are a little bit range bound between the 433 and 445, but with a bullish undertone. On the European yields, we have here range bound between 313 and 291. That is the range that needs to break out of, and we could be stuck there for quite some time before doing so. I think it will be to the upper side, and look at this. Let's just draw a trend line on these here. So here we have it. We have declining RSI values. So if it breaks back above the falling trend line there and above the 60 threshold, expect higher levels towards 3.25. The UK 10 setting back to around 490 and then bounce, and I think it will crawl higher. Have another go at the 512 peaks up here. If it takes it out, well, then there are levels much higher, looking for the UK 10-year Treasury yield. Also here you can draw a trend line, declining RSI values. If it breaks back above 60 threshold and above the falling trend line, expect much higher levels towards 5.25. The Japanese 10 this morning has regained some of its strength, and if it takes out the peak there at 253 and a bit, well, 253, 254, well, then expect a push up towards 260, 64, the 176.4 projection of this correction here, which is around 264. There's room up to that level. Bitcoin, well, it is in a bullish trend, hovering around the upper trend line here in this range or trend channel here. Very close to the 61.8 retracement, to 83,462. So let's see if it can break it. If it can, well, then there's potential up to 90,000. Ethereum basically trading sideways here for the past couple of weeks with a bullish undertone, but still it is not really doing much, and it is lacking the strength of Bitcoin. You can also see declining RSR values, a little bit of its weakness, but if it can get back above the 60 threshold, expect to push higher towards 2,575. All right, that's all for today on the FX market, unless something suddenly happens. Have a nice day, and keep an eye out for the commodities update that should be out shortly. Have a nice day and keep charting.